Huell was told to wait here, but what really happened to him? This is probably the biggest unsolved mystery in the Breaking Bad universe, and today we're going to dive deep into every theory, every clue, and every piece of evidence to finally answer this question once and for all. Before we get to that infamous safe house scene, let's really understand who Huell Babineaux was, because he's so much more complex than people give him credit for. Huell wasn't just muscle, he was Saul's Swiss Army knife, professional pickpocket, intimidator, bodyguard, and problem solver all rolled into one surprisingly gentle giant. His pickpocketing skills were legendary. Watch this scene again.
Hey! Yo, get your goon off me!
You moron. Drop. Leave it. Go lie down. Sorry, you can't be too careful.
Jesse never even felt it. But here's what's fascinating. Huell had this incredibly rare combination of street skills and genuine loyalty. In a show full of betrayal and backstabbing, Huell never once turned on Saul. Think about it. He worked for a criminal lawyer, dealt with dangerous criminals daily, and yet he maintained this almost innocent quality. He was intimidating when he needed to be, but never cruel. What made Huell so effective wasn't just his size, it was his emotional intelligence. He could read people, knew exactly how much pressure to apply, when to be threatening, and when to back off. Notice how he handles different clients, respectful with the elderly, firm but not aggressive with troublemakers, almost protective of people he sensed were genuinely in trouble. This psychological profile becomes crucial when we analyze what happened in that safe house. Huell wasn't just any criminal. He was someone who followed orders and respected authority, even when that authority wasn't necessarily on his side. To understand Huell's fate, we need to trace exactly how he ended up in that safe house, because the timeline is more complex than most people realize. It all started with a picture. Huell pickpocketed Jesse's phone as ordered, but inadvertently took a selfie that revealed the location of Walter's money barrels. The irony is incredible. Huell's greatest skill became the catalyst for everyone's downfall. But here's where it gets interesting. When Hank and Gomez interrogated Huell, they weren't just fishing for information. They had already connected the dots. Huell was their key witness. Watch Huell's body language during this interrogation. He's clearly out of his element, but he's also calculating. He knows more than he's letting on, but he's trying to protect Saul. Notice how he keeps looking toward the door, how he fidgets with his hands. These aren't just nervous habits. He's thinking about loyalty versus survival. The agents promise him protection in exchange for cooperation. They tell him he'll be released once Saul is captured. But here's the thing. This promise was made by agents who wouldn't live to keep it. This is the moment that changes everything. Hank and Gomez leave Huell in that safe house and drive straight to their deaths in the desert. With Hank and Gomez dead, the chain of custody for Huell's protection was broken. No one else knew where he was. Let's analyze this scene frame by frame, because there are details here that most people miss. Look at his face. This isn't just boredom. This is dawning realization. He's starting to understand that something has gone very, very wrong. He tries the TV remote. Nothing. He looks toward the phone, but who would he call? Saul was underground. His contacts were all through Saul, and the agents who brought him here were dead. This is actually one of the most psychologically intense scenes in the entire show, and it's almost entirely silent. Huell is trapped, but not by locks or bars. He's trapped by his own loyalty and confusion. Now let's dive deep into the theories about what happened next, because each one reveals something different about how we interpret stories and characters. The most logical theory. Eventually, someone at the DEA noticed Huell was missing from the system and released him. But let's think about this realistically. After Hank and Gomez died, the DEA would have been in chaos. There would have been investigations, reassignments, confusion. In that chaos, would anyone have remembered one witness in one safe house? The bureaucracy that was supposed to protect Huell might have been the very thing that forgot about him. But here's what's fascinating. Even if help was coming, how long would Huell have waited? We know from his character that he's incredibly patient and obedient. Huell had been conditioned to wait for orders. In his mind, leaving without permission might have felt like betrayal. So even if the door was unlocked, would he have left? This raises uncomfortable questions about loyalty, authority, and what happens when good people get caught in broken systems. The meme theory became bigger than the show itself. Fans calculated that if Huell was still waiting, he'd have been there for over a decade in real time. But what's brilliant about this meme is that it captures something real about modern life. How often we feel forgotten by systems that promise to take care of us. The meme evolved from simple jokes to elaborate narratives. Fans created entire mythologies around Huell's wait, what he ate, how he survived, what he thought about. Some fans even created Huell watch streams, 24-hour live streams of that safe house scene, with chat discussing theories in real time. Better Call Saul gave us closure, showing Huell alive and well in the prequel timeline. But it also gave us something more valuable: context. Seeing young Huell made us realize what the Breaking Bad timeline cost him. That confident, almost playful person became someone trapped by his own loyalty. The prequel didn't just confirm he survived, it showed us what he lost along the way. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Huell's ambiguous fate became a cultural phenomenon that says as much about us as viewers as it does about the show. Why did this particular unresolved plot thread capture imaginations when Breaking Bad resolved almost everything else? I think it's because Huell represented innocence in a show full of guilt. He was the only major character who never made a truly selfish choice. In a show where everyone fell due to pride, greed, or ambition, Huell's only flaw was loyalty. His uncertain fate felt unfair in a way that other characters' fates didn't. When Vince Gilligan finally confirmed that Huell was released and safe, it should have ended the speculation, but it didn't. Lavelle Crawford, who played Huell, embraced the meme culture completely. He started posting updates from the safe house, playing along with the joke. This created a strange meta-narrative where the character, the actor, and the meme all existed simultaneously in popular culture. But let's dig deeper into what the Huell mystery really represents, because it's not just about one character's fate. Huell represents everyone who gets caught up in systems beyond their control. The loyal employee, the faithful friend, the person who follows orders and trusts that someone else will take care of the details. His story is a microcosm of institutional failure. The system promised to protect him, then forgot he existed. Sound familiar? The safe house becomes a metaphor for every waiting room, every bureaucratic limbo, every promise that help is coming. Here's what's brilliant. I don't think the writers intended for Huell's fate to become this significant. It was probably just a loose thread in a complex final season. But sometimes the most powerful storytelling happens in the gaps, in what's left unsaid. Huell's missing resolution became more memorable than many resolved plotlines. It's like a Rorschach test. What we see in Huell's fate says more about our own fears and hopes than about the character himself. So what really happened to Huell? Officially, he was released and went home safe. That's the canonical answer. But culturally, mythologically, Huell achieved something that no other Breaking Bad character did. He became timeless. Walter White's story ended. Jesse's story ended. But Huell became eternal. In our collective imagination, part of him is still waiting in that safe house and always will be. Maybe that's the real genius of Breaking Bad. It created characters so real that they could escape their own story and live in ours. And perhaps that's the most fitting end for Huell Babineaux. Not released or forgotten, but transformed into something bigger than television, bigger than narrative, bigger than any one story could contain. Some stories never end. They just become legend. What do you think? Is Huell still waiting, or has he transcended waiting entirely? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into television's greatest mysteries.